Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Ghostly Stories brought to you by Half Past Dead Paranormal Radio. I am your host, Roger Belt, and my co-host is Mr. Frank Deljudi. I got it right, didn't I?
Close.
Close?
You were close. Yeah,
Real
you're close this time.
If I'm real close,
It's all right.
that works. Okay, everybody, we have... it's an interesting topic with a kind of a twist because we're doing two parts of attachments. Ghostly attachments to human beings and also to objects. And I am going to delve into the first part, which is human attachments.
Interesting.
This diagnosis is familiar. You feel drained of energy, have a diminished ability to concentrate, and crave time alone. You find yourself sleeping more than normal and feel like you're losing a part of yourself day by day. In a normal world, doctors might suggest you have a case of depression. In a paranormal world, you might have a ghost attachment. Sarah had never experienced the winter blues before. Her mental health was sound and her spirit was high. After having a bad day, she treated herself to dinner at a new restaurant, which left her feeling fatigued. Several days later, she felt no better. In fact, she began losing gaps of time. Sounds like an alien abduction, don't it?
Yes, it does.
Finding herself short-tempered with bone-deep exhaustion after suffering for nearly a week, she began to suspect that her issue wasn't normal. Friends told her she had a case of the winter blues and suggested she stock up on vitamin D. But she knew this wasn't the case. She never experienced winter blues before.
Right.
Why would it start now? It wasn't until she ran into a friend with mediumistic ability that she learned the truth. She had a negative ghost attachment.
Huh.
The symptoms of a ghost attachment often mimic seasonal depression, also known as seasonal affective disorder. Unless you are a gifted medium, you might not feel the invisible fingers clinging to your soul. While depression is a very real medical illness caused by chemical changes in the brain and should be treated by a doctor, a sudden, unexpected case of fatigue requires further pursuit. In Sarah's case, the attachment was drinking her dry. Kind of like a vampire coming in. I'm going to drink your blood.
Yeah. Energy-wise.
Yeah. Lost souls who've chosen to remain in our realm need energy to survive. Some might take this energy from electronic devices and from natural electromagnetic sources. But other entities prey on the living. You ever heard of psychic vampires before?
Yes, I have.
Hey, this is kind of what we're talking about, I guess. Demonic attachments use it to gain control of the host. Weakest link.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Sarah was able to shed the attachment with the help of a talented psychic medium who moved the entity back into the realm where it belonged. Others aren't so lucky, enduring the fatigue for years before finding relief. You gonna say something?
No, I'm listening to you.
Okay, depression is a real issue. It should be explored by a doctor. But if these symptoms don't cease with treatment, it can't hurt to dig a little deeper for the solution. I agree.
Right.
Might not be a normal illness. It might be paranormal. Okay, this is part one, and we're talking about human attachments, and I guess kind of sort of what to look for. Also, the treatment. Stop that. What to look for if you feel that your illness is, and you've been to the doctor maybe several times, and maybe you've even went to multiple doctors, and you don't seem to be getting any better, and it's not the type of illness that you would go to your pediatrician for, your common cold, flu symptom. Well, and I can't say that I've never had an attachment, so I can't say what exactly it feels like. If anybody in our chat room has dealt with an attachment before, feel free. Hold on just a second. I want to give the link out in there, and anybody that wants to come on here live and talk to us about it, if you've ever had an attachment.
Yeah, I'd be interested in hearing some people,
All right, I would. Whether you're in there chatting or if you're just listening and you're not in there chatting, I shall put this link in the chat room. And this is the live link where Frank and I are here. Let me get back to it. Please, by all means, if you've ever had an attachment or whatever, come on and talk to us about it. We'd love to hear how it happened and what you did to ratify the situation. There's the live link there in the chat. Anybody wants to come in, feel free to come on up and join us. We mentioned it's kind of like, being drained like a psychic vampire. And I have a friend who lives across town, and this is just, there's something about his wife, and she's as nice as she can be, but she's kind of a little bit on the downside.
right.
And I can go in there and she will just zap I have to leave after a little bit. I can't stay in there too long when she's in there, because she just kind of like she just zaps me.
Huh.
And I don't think she knows it, what she's doing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I can go in there, boy, and I'll just start feeling like weaker and weaker and weaker. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't get up and get out of here, I'm not
Exactly.
just going to get out of here.
Yeah.
Psychic vampires, they do that type of thing. Only when you deal with those, generally they know that they're doing it. They intentionally set you up so that they can do it.
Yeah.
As far as attachments go, you can get an attachment anywhere, I guess. Anywhere the spirit's at, you can get an attachment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, most of the United States alone is wars fought on the grounds. So, I mean, yeah, very, very possible.
Yeah, and I think places that, and I'm not sure that all of them are out to, bring you down.
No, not all.
They're just doing what they feel they need to do in order to survive in their kind of realm or whatever. They need that energy, and you got it.
Right.
And then there's some of them that probably don't care. Now I was reading in the same area that I got these two stories here from. Someone had put in the comments below there was a big old comment that somebody put in there, and they were talking about how, and if anybody knows anything about this, please speak up.
Right.
They were talking about a negative entity attaching itself to someone and causing them to commit crimes, do all kinds of things they wouldn't normally do.
Well, in terms of like that, if you think of something like Amityville, it's more of like a possession, but it's technically I can see that happening.
And as I said, I've never dealt with an attachment. I don't know what they do or what they can do.
Right.
Can they, you know, overtake your will and your mind and make you do things that you wouldn't do? I don't know. Maybe they can. You know, like I said, if anybody listening out there or in the chat room has ever dealt with this, by all means, please let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
The link is right there. You can jump right up here and say your piece. And if you don't want to stay, jump back off. I don't care. But if you know anything about it or you've dealt with it before, come on, let us know. So what do you think as far as what would you say a person would have to do to be a prime subject for attachment?
Oh, being someone that has an attachment or is haunted by it, through this attachment. It could be for a variety of different reasons. It could be right place, right time. It could be they were nice to them, or it could be, unknown factors that might not very well be good. Like I had mentioned before, the thing about Amityville.
Yeah,
Uh, but, a person could, it wouldn't hurt to, say there are exorcismal rites that you could actually find on the internet, as long as you have half a will, and you pray. I
right,
know how that sounds, but it works. I've done it. It works. It gets rid of negative. Uh, I'm not going to say negative entities. I'm just going to say negative presences. And it's just protect yourself. If you do things to protect yourself, take the steps that we take.
I
Uh,
kind of think it might fall into lines also like a demonic possession.
right,
You know, if you go into a place and let's just say you're sick, so
right,
you're not at your peak.
yeah,
Your energy level is low. You feel bad. You feel negative. You just feel like well,
yeah,
we had this investigation and I'm supposed to be here, so here I am.
right,
Sometimes it's not good to go on an investigation. I don't care if the whole team's going and you're the head honcho. Okay.
right,
If you're not at your peak, and especially if the claims are demonic or otherwise negative, evil entities or whatever,
right,
uh, it might not be wise for you to tag along. If you
right,
have a second lieutenant, so to speak, in command, let them take the team and go take care of business.
yep,
As much as I know, it would drive me nuts if I had to do that, but I would do that before I would put myself in that kind of a situation.
yeah, definitely,
My problem is I'm not afraid of it. Okay, there's other things that living people scare me worse than ghosts do. And a lot of people say that, but that's the dang truth. I'm more scared of living people than I am a ghost.
yeah, I agree on that.
Now, having said that, I'm not saying that nothing will never happen to change my opinion on that, but as of yet, I haven't had anything that bad to put that kind of fear in me, and I hope I don't ever do that.
Well, it's a
Um,
crazy world.
you kind of it's kind of like when you come upon a stray dog.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
scared, they automatically sense that and they're all over you like stink on a mule turd. I'm sorry, but I'm serious. They are. But if you don't show them any fear, they'll kind of stand there. They might growl and get their hackles up, but they're not as quick to go into attack mode as
Right,
long as
yeah,
you're not going towards them like you're going after them.
right,
You know, I kind of feel like spirits are sort of the same way. Um,
yeah. I, you- I,
You
I can
know,
see that.
if you're at the top of your game and you're not afraid of them and everything, and you don't show them any fear, yeah, they might think about it, but they're not going to be as quick to jump, as they would on a weak link.
Right.
That's why I say they always go for a weak link. They'll look in the group and they'll try to find the one that's hiding their fear, but they're scared.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the one that they're gonna grab a hold of and ride home with.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, I'm not saying in all cases. Anybody over there wants to chirp in, the link is up there. Feel free to come on up.
Call
Frank,
us.
I know you got some opinions on this.
Anybody at all.
Frank Lee over there, he's supposed to be over here in the chat room. Click that link, Frank Lee, and come on up here and put your 2 cents worth in.
Yes.
Or 4 cents, 5 cents, whatever you want to put in. But yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it. It's why otherwise than the fact that they need your energy. What other purpose would they have for wanting to attach to a living person?
Who knows?
Now, if they're and this is my show. I talk the way I want to. I don't mean to offend people, but if a wordy dirt slips out, y'all just forgive me and go on with your business. But I'm a firm believer of if you were an asshole when you were alive, you're going to be an asshole when you're dead.
Yes. Yeah.
And that would be a reason for if it's true what that one person said that I read about. If they can come in and control you and make you do things, I could see them doing it just for that purpose.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, I could see them coming up, and for anyway, let's just say that you're straight up and you don't take any kind of drugs, you don't smoke weed, you don't do any of that stuff.
Right.
I could see them, if you're in a situation where you're around, and I'm around people at times that do stuff like this. That's their business and it ain't mine. I don't think any less of them, what I'm saying. I hang around with people that I know do stuff. And they're good people. They just, But anyway, I could see them if you had an attachment saying, "Oh, come on, you want to hit that joint there, you want, yeah, you want to."
Right.
You think how good you're gonna feel when you do, I could see that. Just for instance, say you're broke and you need something like food or whatever, I could see the thing,
Right.
You got a couple of dollars, buy a couple of things, hide something underneath it, just go on out with it. Nobody never know.
Yeah. No.
If that is true. Now, I'm going to kind of go into a little bit more about what I read because I don't know about all this. It's a little bit too creepy even for me. But they were saying that this person, a grandfather, molested a child because this entity made him do this. Something, I can't remember what the other thing was. But they were saying something about his little granddaughter. If they hadn't got her away from him, anything could have happened because he was being manipulated. Now, I don't know.
What?
Is it possible? Maybe.
Chances are like 1 in a billion.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but I'm saying part of what this person was saying, I could kind of rationalize a little bit how maybe if you were conflicted with an evil entity or whatever, they could make you do some things. But I don't think anybody's going to let their mind be controlled to that point. You know what I'm saying? Because it would be a natural, if you're a decent human being anyway, it'd be a natural defense against something like that. You ain't going to
Right.
do, because I don't care what anything says or tries to put in your head, in the back of your mind, you know it's wrong. You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's, but
It's sick.
anyways, what I'm saying is it possible that it could afflict you and make you do small things, maybe, that you wouldn't normally do? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. To
Uh,
this I say, how convenient. That's what I have to say about that.
right. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I guess Frank is not going to come up and join us. He's got his scaredy pants on tonight.
Really?
Frank, you got your scaredy pants on over there?
Is anybody else in the chat room? Hello. Say hi, everybody. Tonight we're talking about hauntings, possessions.
Yeah, I see him. There he is right there. He's in here. He's hiding. Oh, Frank, you're hiding back there. I know you're in there. There's a link in there. Come up and put your 2 cents in. He's hiding back there in the back. Okay. Yeah. Frank's got. I didn't think Frank was scared of anything. He's got his scaredy pants on tonight. He won't come up here and even cut up and laugh with us. Come on, and that's not like you, Frank. You know how I like men. You like to cut up. So anyway, ghost attachments to living beings. I've heard of a lot of cases. I haven't really up until I was reading about these stories there. I hadn't really read a lot about them. And like I said, I haven't dealt with it on a personal level. But I can see where, they would want to for different reasons, obviously. But it's kind of like if you're in a place and you have an entity that wants to, maybe it wants to show itself.
Yeah.
You can't get enough energy from what batteries you got in your equipment, this, that, or the other thing.
It's taking it.
It would use whatever energy was there, be it human, battery, or otherwise. Now that's just saying if it wants to present itself, okay?
Yeah.
But if it was looking for a new home and a free ride, it's not going to present itself, but it's just going to latch onto you.
Right.
They wouldn't like it here. My dogs would upset them. But yeah. Yeah, they're little heathens whenever anybody, I don't care. Them dogs would, I swear, a pissant could fart on the other side of town and they'd start barking. They hear it.
Yeah.
They're the world's worst now. People that's been in this house 1,000 times, they still bark and growl at them every time they come in.
Right.
Just because they want to be little heathens, okay? But, I love them. What can I say?
Yeah.
But I couldn't see an entity sticking around for long, even if he rode home with me. You'd be like, man, them suckers getting on my nerves. I got to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's a scary thought though, because anytime you go on an investigation, you can bring something home with you.
Yep. Every time.
Especially if you don't prepare in advance, you're
Yep.
more likely to bring something home with you.
Every time.
Yeah, every time you go, you run that risk every time you go.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me scared to go. It just makes me think a little bit more about what kind of shape I'm in when I go. I want to make sure that I'm in top form when I go.
Yeah.
I don't want to have, or I don't want to have anybody sickly on the team going.
True.
Because I don't want them going home with something either. And my thing is I worry more about my teammates than I do myself.
Right.
I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't want anybody taking something home that don't belong. It's just it's part of what I guess being in control, and a lot of times I am because Dusty's not there, but it's part of what being in control of other people. You automatically go in defensive mode when you think something's going to happen to one of these, and I'd be the first one to step up. If you want to attach to somebody, I'd rather you grab me than one of them. And that's but that's the way I look at it. If you're gonna do it to me. Leave them alone.
Definitely.
Don't do it to me. But I mean, if you gotta,
Right. Right.
Because that's just the way it is. We're gonna get into the other half of this ordeal, which is
haunted
objects. And Frank here is going to delve into this one for you. So I'm going to shut my mouth and let him go.
All right. Like you said, haunted objects. You can buy practically anything on the internet. So why not ghosts? Even have shipping convenience. The ghosts have attached themselves to objects, often dolls, clowns, and even little idol figurines. Maybe even Ouija boards. It's interesting that clothes, jewelry, paintings, and photographs have this in common. In some cases, household objects like wooden boxes, furniture, and musical instruments. They all seem to be popular places for lost souls to take up residence. So think about it. If you could believe a spirit is energy rationally, and it can attach itself to any object, then any item or object can be haunted. From antique to new, what can this paranormal activity look like? Most people who experience these hauntings say they feel cold or anxious around the objects. Some say they have bad dreams or even see images of a past time. Others claim to have heard voices from the object. It gives off a particular smell, or the object moves on its own. Experts agree that most of the objects in question are victims of hauntings and are real. However, they disagree on where the haunting actually originates. Are they neurons in the haunted person's brain, or are they caused by supernatural forces, or AKA paranormal forces? I mean, talking about what you were talking about before and then talking about this, people want a good example of, like a haunted object. Think Annabelle. Most people know Annabelle from The Conjuring, but that's an actual little Raggedy Ann doll that was in a famous case that was headed by Ed and Lorraine Warren. It's stuff like that. More stuff about like haunted objects. John Zaffis and that show, The Haunted Collector.
Yeah.
That's pretty, it's pretty cool stuff.
Heck,
You
I
know,
believe he's added stuff to their collection.
right. I mean, for me, knowing that anything that you get can possibly have some kind of attachment, and things could be happening. It's a surreal feeling, but it's very possible. I've heard of a lot of people having like mostly haunted dolls because of sometimes how old they can be, to like old photographs and stuff that they tell me moved. They swear they moved. I don't know, weird stuff. But I can believe that, you know, attachments to people and attachments to objects, definitely. Because with objects, people should know when they're made, the maker exerts a bit of energy, and it is put into the object when it's being created to begin with. So,
And
yeah,
object
definitely.
uh, can be anything like this, from the size of this ring right here up until a player piano. Okay,
Yeah,
doesn't the size doesn't matter. It's the emotional attachment, I guess, with
yes,
certain things. Dolls are probably one of the most frequent things that they attach to, especially if it might be a child spirit. You know,
yeah,
uh, people, if a person had a piano and they love to play their piano and everything, they might be, that might be something they would attach to.
yeah,
Uh, you might have a bust of yourself or spouse that's passed, and you have a bust of them or something. Well, when you go, you might cling to that. You know, there's so many things with kids. It could be toys, a certain toy. Um,
yeah,
I think that's one of the reasons why trigger objects work in a lot of cases with,
yes.
because normally the trigger object is like a doll or a teddy bear or something like
Or a
that.
ball.
Now,
Balls are a good thing.
I would like to, it would be, good Lord, how do I put this? If you had someone who could make any kind of trigger object you wanted,
Right,
if you were called to do an investigation where they claimed there was a child spirit,
right,
find out, like, what their favorite toy is,
right,
uh, if they still have said toy, if they would let you do it, take it to this person and let them uh, make it a trigger object.
right.
Put something in it to trigger if they, manipulate it.
Yeah,
That would be, man, good Lord, just think of how much that would add to an investigation if you could do that.
yeah. Something to interact with.
Yeah, and it's something that they love. So if it was something they played with a lot, they really loved it.
Right,
The chances of you getting them to manipulate that object would be a whole lot easier.
right.
And
Yeah,
if you could take that object and have it something, a light of some kind that would go off if they moved it, you know,
yeah.
uh, I don't know, there's any kind of way. How do they do? What exactly do they put in those things anyway?
What?
In those trigger objects, I know they may put heck, they may even put a camera in the darn thing for all I know, one of the little cameras or something.
Right,
Now that would be interesting if you could take one and put one of those little bitty cameras in there
right.
where the lens would be where the eye was.
Yeah, possible.
You know, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Just as we've said before, thinking outside the box a little bit, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
But you know what would you attach to if you had an object you could attach to if you passed? What would you want to be attached to?
Uh, what would I want to be attached to?
Yeah, just out of curiosity, is
That,
there something?
that's that's definitely an awkward question to be put on the spot. What would you like to be attached to if you were a spirit? Let's
I'm
see.
just saying, is there a favorite object that you have that you might cling to if you?
Uh, well, I don't
Yeah,
know. A golf club?
yeah, I
I
could
don't
see
know.
my
I have
favorite.
no idea. I've never really thought of it that way.
Your golf
A
club,
ham and cheese sandwich.
a ham and cheese say, all right, Bo.
No, seriously. Uh, I don't
A
know.
Stormy on rye.
I've never really had like a favorite one object. Like that's never been.
So you've never had anything.
Maybe this. Maybe this. This is my wedding ring.
Okay,
Probably this.
then there you go. That could be it.
Yeah, I would definitely, probably, more than likely.
Now, see, for me, it would be very hard to, because, like you said, man, there's different things. Um, I could kind of see playing games,
Yeah,
like attaching myself to a flashlight, and then when somebody takes it, lays it down, says, "Turn that flashlight on."
yeah. Pull out a checkerboard. That'd be awesome. This guy beat me again, and I can't even see him.
Oh, with me, it'd be a chessboard.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I love chess now,
That would.
and nobody around here plays, so I don't get to play.
Now you
But
got me want. Now you got me wanting to do another experiment. There's a chessboard here, and there's activity around. Like
yeah,
move this piece just a little bit.
okay, you're in check. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, right.
And
I,
deliberately set it up, but give them a way out and see
yeah,
if they do it.
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, it's stuff like that that you can do to gauge exactly what you're dealing with.
Hey,
I like
Paul.
I
Paul.
like spirits' reactions to music. They're very vocal about that.
Well, and the Kling brothers actually did that. They did an investigation in a theater,
Yeah.
and one of the things that they used to do in that theater, I think, is they would put on like music,
A concert?
sort of, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Uh, but what they would do is they would go in there and perform old music,
Okay.
you know, uh, like 60s stuff,
Right, right,
late
right.
50s, early 60s, kind of.
Hmm.
And so they went in there and if I remember correctly, they dressed like them from the time period, and they would, perform those old songs and stuff in there just to try to get a reaction.
Yeah.
Man, but of course, if you're them, and at the time, um, they were backed by a television network,
Right.
so to have the funds to be able to get costumes made, to get all that set up, get rent instruments, whatever you got to do to get everything set up.
Right.
And if you're like most of us out here, we don't have any backing. We Everything is paid for out of our pocket. everything.
Right.
And it's kind of hard to set up a big experiment like that. Smaller things you can do, but now if we were going to a place, let's say where they say this certain gentleman likes to play checkers or whatever, like you said, or chess or something, you could set up a board.
Right.
And set it up like we talked about, leave them a way out, see if they'll take it. You know, or even set up the whole board, you know, and say, you know, it's your move, you know, and see if anything moves. But,
Yeah.
There's so many things you can do, but it's kind of, we're kind of getting off a little bit off topic, but you know, I mean, and that's the thing about it. We can talk about whatever we want, but if you were in a place where that was one of the claims is, you know, well, Grandpa liked to play checkers with Uncle Joe. You know, we still have his checkerboard. Now that would be the one you would want to use.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and set that up and sit yourself down in a chair across the table and say, okay, Grandpa, you know, let's see what you got. You know, you never know. It'd be kind of like using something of theirs for a trigger object that is something they love to do. So, you know, it kind of makes sense that it would work or might work.
Yeah.
You don't really know until you try. But I mean, that's the whole point of experimentation. You know, you want to find out what works best.
Definitely.
Now you're the object attachment man, so carry on, Godfrey. Let's get a little further into this thing.
Okay. Let's see. Object attachment. I mean, what else can I really say about it? Could be anything. It could be for any reason. You never ever know. And it could be from half the world away, but somehow it ends up at your doorstep.
Right.
So, as far as
you buy stuff online, and that's one of the first things you said. You can buy anything on the internet.
Yeah.
What was it? What was it? The box. Remember, the guy bought the box off the internet, and it. You know what I'm talking about? I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but he wound up opening that thing, and stuff started happening.
Oh yeah. It was like damn. I know what you're talking about. It's a specific kind of box.
Yeah, it was some in the old country somewhere it was made.
Right. And it's supposed to house demons.
This woman, yeah, and it was trapped in the box.
Yeah.
And he bought it off the internet, and because it was supposed to be a haunted box. Well, you know, he owns some kind of a store, so he sold all kinds of stuff. Then when he realized how dangerous it was, he knew that he couldn't sell it to anybody outright. Well, he did wind up selling it to somebody though. And it went on and on and on, and finally this guy built another box and put this box inside of it and locked this box up where nobody could get to it.
Right.
And in a shed or something on his property, but that's what I'm saying. You know, this thing came all the way from Sicily or somewhere over in there, and or Welch or Sicily or somewhere, and it wound up in the States. Some college kids, I think, originally bought it. A college kid bought it off the internet or something.
Right.
And it started causing him problems, I think. So he put it back up for sale, and the store owner guy bought it, and then he wound up selling it to this guy that finally wound up locking it away somewhere. But you don't really know, you know, what kind of attachment you got. You know,
Right.
whether it's like that, where it's gonna be an evil kind of deal, you know, where if you open Pandora's box, so to speak.
Yeah. That's the scary thought.
You know, and you, then again, you can have ornery spirits too, you know,
Yeah.
that are attached to something and they don't want their stuff touched. And, you know, you bring it in, and next thing you know, there's stuff going missing, and this is being knocked over. And it's kind of like having a cat running around the house spilling your drink on the carpet and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, or it could just be uh, somebody was talking about one time about buying a painting. Or no, they didn't buy it. They got it from somebody that lived across the road that passed away.
Huh.
It's in the house, and they brought it home, and stuff started going on. And I assume that the person that owned this painting loved her paintings and didn't want nobody taking them, you know, out of her house. I'm
Right.
supposing that, but you know, it's kind of like with ghosts attaching to the living, ghosts that attach to objects. They can be just as gentle, and you know, maybe they might like where you took their stuff. And if you're taking good care of their stuff, you know, they may be happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but let somebody put a scratch on their table and see where that goes. You know,
True
or
indeed.
yeah. But then again, you might bring somebody assholish home with you,
Yeah.
attached to something, you know. Uh, I wouldn't want to, and that even freaks me out. You know, I never used to think about it until I started, you know, seeing stuff about attachments to objects and all that. Because I used to love go yard sailing.
Right.
Man, you find all kind of crazy stuff in a yard sale.
Right.
And there was a guy that bought, and I don't know how these people didn't know this. Um, they had a pewter, old pewter tea pitcher, and it was full of old coins. But apparently they didn't look. They just thought it was naturally heavy, I guess.
Right.
Sold it to this guy for $10. He gets home, he's, you know, pours this thing out. He's got probably a small fortune in old coins right there
Oh, wow.
that he give $10 for at a yard sale. You know, you never know what you're going to get or what you can come away with, but you might come away
Exactly.
with a little bit more than you wanted.
Right.
And a lot of times in yard sales, and the thing about yard sales is people do crazy things. Okay, I know there was this one woman that used to go with and you know where I'm talking about, the what you call it over here, We Care Ministry.
Right.
They would go in there and shop for cheap clothes in the We Care Ministry that you get for, like, you know, a quarter, 50 cents or whatever, and then go put them in a yard sale for $1.
Wow.
You know, but I'm sure people get other things. Like, you may go to a auction, and a lot of times in auctions, when it gets toward the end of the auction, they may have boxes full of stuff, you know, that's still there. You know, well, give me $5 for the whole box,
Right.
and you don't know what's in there. You know, you go home, dump it all out. You got all kind of crazy stuff. So what do? You have a yard sale. You stuff this stuff out. You know, uh, you paid $5. You got 3 or 4 items that bring you your $5 back, plus whatever you get out of the rest of it. But who knows what you brought home with you in that box?
Right.
And you sell it to somebody else, and they're taking it home with them. And Grown-up folk can deal with it, but if you got kids, you know, it could be bad
Yeah, definitely.
or
Definitely.
a lot worse. Um, Yard sales are like that. And, I mean, you can find just all kind of different things, man. We used to go to like, you know, we go to everyone all around the neighborhood, one or
Right.
the other, just to see what they had, you know. I was always the tool fanatic. I'd be looking for tools and stuff wherever I went, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get. You ever seen the old tops that they used to have where you pull up the handle and you crank it, you know, and it would spin.
Yeah.
And then things were like huge, you know, and you pump that lever and they'd spin. And I've seen stuff like that in yard sales. I didn't get it. I don't know why. I should have. It's antique. Didn't think about it. You know,
Yeah.
might have $1 on it. You're looking at something that was made in what, the 40s,
Yeah.
somewhere back in there. Of course, one thing I would never buy. I don't care where it was at. It's a Ouija board. I
True. Yeah.
don't,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't want one of them things nowhere around me.
Right.
And if something was going to have an attachment, I think it'd be something like that.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, I mean, moreover than most anything else, you know, if you have something like that involved, more likely there's something there attached to that, you know, or just waiting to hop out, you know. But you know, we've talked about um, pianos, tables, dolls, teddy bears, toys of all kinds, you know, um, people. A spirit can attach to just about anything it wants to, you know, and I just wondered, I never thought about it until just right this second. If you brought home an attachment, okay, let's say you had um, a priest come in and he expels this attachment from you or whatever. Who's to say that spirit can't go attached to something you have in your house?
True.
You know, and you think he's gone, but he's still there. He's just attached to your DVR or your TV or your, you know,
Yeah.
anything that you have. You know, and if you ever get rid of that, you're sending him on to somebody else's house, or just saying. And now, if you were mean and vindictive, not saying I'm anything like that, if I knew he was attached to my DVD over there, I'd be having a yard sale. Yeah, 50 cents, buddy. You want a DVD player? I tell you what, we're having a special day. Give me a nickel. Get this thing out of here. No, I wouldn't do that. I might try to get rid of it myself, take it to a gully somewhere. But I'm sure there's people that would do that.
Yeah, definitely.
I got a haunted object in my house, and crap is going everywhere, and it's tearing up my house and freaking out my kids. Tell you what, let's put it in the yard sale out there and sell it for 50 cents, you know. And if
I
it's a
can see that
cool looking
happening.
object, right, who ain't going to jump on it for 50 cents? So you made 50 cents and you got rid of the object that's tearing up your house. So that's a win-win.
Yep.
Well, for them anyway. Uh, it's just crazy. The you know, the whole thing with attachments is crazy. I have I don't know what you would call it. My wife seen it. It was like a shadow. She saw it, had the hat on,
Right.
and she swears up and down it was an African American male. He was standing over here in the corner, and the lights were out, of course, so she was seeing kind of in a, whatever little bit of light was filtering in.
Right.
And at that time, I had my computer and everything was all set up on the kitchen table in there because we didn't use it for eating anyway. So I had everything set up in there. She was in here asleep, and I was in there. She said it was watching me, or like it was looking towards me, like it was listening intently or whatever to me.
Right.
Wasn't paying any attention to her. I don't know. Like I said, I've never seen it myself personally, but I've felt it in here many times, and my dog freaks out and gets under my feet and won't come out. So he comes around every now and pays a visit. He's not harmful. He doesn't do anything. He just probably stands over and watches me and everything and go, man, you must not have no life. You stay on that computer all the time. But anyway, he's not. I don't guess he may be attached to the house for all I know. This is an old house.
Maybe.
But my wife also says that she has seen in our living room. One time she saw a girl sitting at a table where our front window is, brushing her hair. There's never been a table in front of that window.
That's weird.
So, that was not like my daughter brushing her hair over a table, because there's never been a table there.
Right.
There's always been a cabinet sitting in front of that window. So that's really weird. I don't know where that came from. But anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this. We got about 3 minutes, and we're just gonna chit chat around here and finish up the show. But for the most part, you get the gist of what we were talking about. Be careful what you buy at sales, auctions. You never know what you're going to bring home in a box. They can attach to clothes. They can attach to jewelry. They can attach to a hairbrush. Speaking of brushing your hair, a hat, a pair of boots, anything that you can think of. If it meant something to them, they can attach to it, and they will. And it's not always bad, but it can be bad. So just remember that when you go yard sailing or you go to the auctions and all that kind of stuff. Beware of if you notice any kind of change once you bring this stuff home. You might want to get rid of everything that you brought home, not just one or two things, thinking you're going to get rid of it and I'm going to keep this because you don't know which object it was.
Right.
So, yeah, if weird stuff starts happening, put everything you got back in that box. I don't care if you take it to the city dump, just get rid of it.
Right.
Because it may not be a good thing.
Exactly.
Friday night, and I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. I'll post up a event cover for it here shortly, soon. It's a story that Mary Strickland over there in the chat room found for me, and it's really interesting. And Frank, I'll let you know later what it is, but
Okay.
kind of going to leave it as a surprise for right now. I'm not going to just tell everybody what's going on. But this was interesting, and she wasn't looking for it when she found it. She was looking for something else, and it popped up, and she's like, "Oh, that's cool," and she sent it to me. So,
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna do that for Friday. And I've also got one, Frank, that you and I will discuss here in the very short future that I'm thinking about doing for next Wednesday.
Okay.
And I've got it saved. It's actually 3 or 4 short parts, but it's all dealing with the same thing.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll like that, and CJ will too, because she likes that, what I'm talking about. She's over here listening to me. CJ is one of your favorite subjects. I don't see her. She must already be gone. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming. Our people in chat do not need to be disrespected. Like, huh? What are you talking about? Who's being disrespected? What are you talking about? Hello, somebody talk to me. Okay, see, I can't be over here all the time. And what the heck is this?
What?
Okay, somebody over here in the chat room. Oh, good grief. Who? I bet I know who that is.
Who?
Huh? I may be wrong and I may not. I'm not sure. Yeah, I see that now, Paul. Hey, you guys over there, I need to fix a way to have a moderator in there that can boot these ignorant people. Oh, good deal. Way to go, Mary. Oh, somebody over here in the chat room was acting like a shithead. Went by unchosen one. Thanks, Mary, for handling that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down now, and I'd like to find out who that is. I wish we could have got the IP address on that. Freaking ignorant people. Ain't got nothing better to do. Okay, Frank, we're going to go ahead and close this down, and like I said, I'll talk to you about the other stuff that I got. Thanks everybody for coming, and thanks Mary for taking care of that little situation over there. We'll see y'all Friday. Good night, everybody.
Good night.